Teyacapan! Teyacapan! Where are you? I need you in the kitchen, my mom yelled. Fortunately for me, it allowed me to be released from the ground where the white children made fun of me while making me eat dirt, like the color of your skin, they would say. As I got up to go in, they proceeded to bully me with their words, with things such as, "Go on now, Mommy is waiting for you in the kitchen," and "That's right, go back to where you belong, dirty mestizo," and "What a disgrace is your race." I hurried into the kitchen, escaping the words that flew past me like bullets, and asked my mom if she would not mention the kitchen when calling for me so I could avoid further degrading remarks. Those boys will take whatever they can get and tease me for who I am and what I do. They say I am the dirt of Mexico, not worth anything to anyone, only good for them to put their feet on. My son, how many times must I tell you to pay no attention to those other kids? She replied. And always remember, it does not matter what color your skin is, but rather who you are and what is in your heart that is really important. To my father I am Martin. To my mother I am Teyacapan, which means firstborn. I was blessed in the Nahuatl tongue, for war is thy destiny, war is thy mission. Later to be given a Christian baptism, and given my Christian name, Martin. My blood runs deep within this land. For glory, my blood was once offered to the gods of the Aztecs, and now my blood is slain in vain for the avaricious thirst of the Spaniards. My blood is the result of a love affair between servant and conquistador. My blood has no worth in comparison to that of my father. My blood is a new life born from the great encounter of presumed gods and my mother. My blood is that of Malitzin and Hernan Cortez. My blood is Mexico. I am Teyacapan, the firstborn of a new mix of races, and the first to bear the discrimination of this mestizaje. It would not be until later that I realized what this Nahuatl blessing meant, and who I truly am. So for now, I will continue with my story. After dinner, I told my mom to go rest, and I would clean up the mess. My mom is very pregnant at this point, due any day now, so it has been my job to see to it that she is cared for until Señor Jaramillo gets back from his trip with my father. They went off to some sort of public discourse by a guy that is in town. I think his name might be Bartolome de las Casas. Nonetheless, I think it means change for the way I have seen my people treated. My father has been training me in the art of war, and I wish to fight for a right cause. After 2 weeks of being at home with my mom, who is about to burst, Señor Jaramillo finally comes home to tell me that my father thinks it is time to accompany him on his next misión. I left home to meet with my dad shortly after the birth of my sister Marina, to learn more about the art of war and what he does that makes him so highly esteemed among his people. We ventured out of Mexico City to a neighboring town, where I saw people of dark skin who seemed to have powdered themselves white. Confused, I asked, why have these people painted themselves to be this way? They wish to be more white, more intelligent, more pure, like me, said Cortez. Then, to my utter surprise, he shot one of the men and said, "That will teach him to be more white." I felt as though someone had taken away all of my oxygen and that I was surely going to die, if not from lack of air, then from the possible betrayal of my father. As Luis, Cortez's other son, laughed hysterically at the thought of making him more white, I grew smaller and smaller. Finally, to my relief, our dad, Cortez, told him to be silent, and then we continued on our way. That night, we set up camp, and the women of that town prepared us a meal. I was ordered to help serve the other soldiers while Luis reveled in being served. The men became a little drunk and started to push me around and say things like, "It's great to have a mestizo around. He will be of good use when the labor gets tough." I slipped out soon after that to escape further harsh comments. I sat on a rock nearby thinking to myself about what had happened today and how I felt betrayed by my father. All this time I believed him to have fought for my people, for my blood. Why else would my mother have helped him? She was promised that he would protect her people, but what I saw today was not honorable. It was then that I realized I mustn't return, for the war I was fighting was greater than me. It was for all of Mexico. Spanish blood is in me, but I am not the dirt of this land. I am Mexican. That now I understand.